I don't think that birth parents care more for the children than adoptive parents. Let's talk about something that I've been thinking for a long time. I don't know why no one else is talking about it, but I think it's something that many countries and governments should consider. By the way, if you like what you see and find it interesting, please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Do you know someone that wanted to adopt a child, or maybe you wanted to? Well, today we will talk about the child adoption requirements and why those requirements are not applied to people who want to have a child regularly by birth. I believe you probably know more or less what the requirements to adopt a child are. Now, most countries and organizations have their own rules and requirements, so we will focus on the general requirements and not so much on the details. First of all, in order to adopt a child, you need to be of a certain age. In some countries you must be 21 and over, in some other countries you must be between 30 and 60, I think. But the point is that the age requirement is always there, as it should be. For birth parents though, there is no such obstacle. You can have a child whenever you want if you are fertile and no one will care at all. Another important requirement is your medical health, of course. Basically, most countries and organizations ask that you are in a stable medical health with no substance abuse, or even if you had substance abuse, you need to rehabilitate in order to be eligible again. But more or less, you need to be able to prove that you don't have any serious illness that would result in bad parenting. And as you probably know, for birth parents, no one is asking you to prove anything, nor before, neither after giving birth to a child. Mental and emotional health is also an important requirement, and as before, you will be asked to prove that you are stable mentally and emotionally. Also, if you had any history of such illness, you will need to prove that you are past it, showing a doctor's statement or something like that. For birth parents though, no one cares if you are crazy. In fact, most parents tend to be. Another very important requirement is your criminal history. If you don't have any criminal history, you will be fine. If you have, it will be hard. If you have committed some insignificant crimes, probably you will be eligible to adopt. But if you have committed some more serious crimes like murder or child abuse, I'm sure the rules then will be much more stricter. If that's a word. Much stricter. More strict. You get my point. Now again, for birth parents, even if you were the most terrible criminal in the world, if your sentence is finished and you're free again, you can always have a child and no one will ask you a thing. Another requirement is the financial status of the parents. Most countries and organizations will not ask you to be rich, of course, but you will have to prove that you can afford at least the minimum needs of a child. They are going to inspect your home to check that it is in a good condition, clean and not too small. Also, the adopted child will be required to live in his own room and not in a shared one. As you know, no one will ask the birth parents about the financial status and where the child will be living. Well, there are more requirements, but more or less these are the most important ones, and most of the times it will be a tough process in order to be eligible to adopt a child. Which is great, that's how it should be. You need to be able to prove that you have what it takes in order to be able to provide a good and long-term family for a child. What I find strange though, is that no one cares if those requirements are met by birth parents as well. You will probably say it's because most parents don't really think about it before having a child. Most of the times it just happens. So, after a woman is pregnant, shouldn't someone check to see if the couple is eligible to raise a child? Or just the woman if he's single? I'm sure it would be easy to check and also help the couple or the single woman to raise their child easier. And if they don't meet those requirements, I'm not saying take the child away, of course. Just observe them and make sure they will do what they have to in order to be eligible to raise a child again, or even help them to meet those requirements. I don't know, am I exaggerating too much? Do you agree with what I said, or do you think that couples can have children with no control whatsoever, as it is now? Because I don't think that birth parents care more for the children than adoptive parents. In fact, I think I have seen more child abuse cases from birth parents than from adoptive ones. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the argument that birth parents will care and love their children more than adoptive parents is not valid at all. But please, tell me your opinion, especially if you're an adoptive parent. Don't you feel it is unfair that you have to pass through all of this tough process in order to be able to adopt a child and other people have it easier? I would love to hear the opinions from both birth and adoptive parents, because frankly, I don't have children apart from pets, and maybe I'm not really the one to have a say in this. So please enlighten me. Also, don't forget to subscribe, and as always, be awesome and express yourself.